Welcome to Nightlife 24/7.
Are you ready to talk about sex?
No, let's talk about relationships.
Or is it time to talk about dating, taboos?
It's on your mind.
So let's talk about it
On Nightlife 24/7.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nightlife 24/7. I'm your boy, Mac. And today I'm hanging out with my friend, Miss B. How are you doing today?
Today is a beautiful day. Thank you for inviting me.
Not a problem, not a problem. Hey, you know, most people know this, and I'm really proud of it. You know, I grew up in the country, and I was raised by my grandmother. And I wouldn't change that for the world. I really wouldn't. She instilled in me what it was to be a man of the house. She taught me how to cook, and she taught me how to sew, how to clean. I mean, we had our own vegetable garden, all that kind of stuff. So I love that. I mean, to come home from school and have to do all my homework, and then I could go hang out in the woods and play with my dog. It was great. Now, that being said, the word grandmother is not used as much anymore. They have a new terminology now for that, which is glam moms. Now, a lot of you are probably going to be like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, that's the new terminology. And it's based on the fact that grandmothers are younger than what they used to be, and they are still current in fashion and dating and extremely sexually active to some point. I am going to help you out with this session, people, with this episode. The whole point of having Miss B here, who is a black female, she's going to give you her experiences and her point of view from a black woman's point of view. Now, hold on. Don't get your panties all up in a tight wad. The next episode that we do on this, I have a friend who's also going to be doing the show, and she is Mexican. So you will have the point of view from a Latino woman and how she feels about it, and how the age difference and all that is a factor now in these days. But today, you're getting it from a black woman. All right? And don't bite down on her too hard. She can be a little sensitive. Okay. So y'all be gentle with her. And I'm going to hit her with a couple questions here and there, but I'm going to let her speak now. And tell me, when did you kind of sort of realize that you fell in that category of a glam mom?
When you invited me to do this show.
So you didn't even know it until I informed you.
Honestly, I hadn't even thought of that. I am a new grandma, right?
Okay.
My grandson is just a little over a year old.
Gotcha.
I remember the term. I remember the first time I heard that terminology, and it's been a minute though. I was speaking to some women. She was maybe 39 or 40 and had several grandchildren, and that kind of stunned me. I'm like, you're not even 40. How is that possible? And we had the conversation, and for her, she was saying, I started young, and my eldest is, she was like 13 or 14 when she had her first, and so here we are. Yeah. And in her mind, she was still, diva-licious. Is that the word?
Yeah, that is a word. That is definitely a word.
She was a single mom, working, dating, fine, if I should say so. She was fine, and I was amazed to have met someone. And this was, we're talking, it's a good 10 plus 15 years ago that this conversation went down. So, yeah, that let me know then that something was changing in our
culture. Yeah.
Because I grew up with the grandmother, not like you, but my grandmom was like, in my mind.
Yeah.
I thought she was like 90.
Wow, you trying to make it sound old as dirt or something. Come on.
No, because she wasn't active. She,
She did a lot of stuff around the house and kept the house straight and cooked.
Not mine.
Not yours?
No. Not my grandma.
Oh, okay. My grandmother was
I had
active.
a different kind of grandma.
Okay, my grandma.
You had the real deal, right?
Yeah. We was out in the garden.
She was holding things down, right?
Yeah, we had to. Ooh, yeah,
man.
there was no.
My grandma was the call you from outside to come and get you some water. Grandma.
No, that's not my grandmother. No.
I had and I only had brief encounters with my maternal grandmother and my paternal grandmother, who was like my grandfather's second wife. And so they both, now Grandma Carrie, she was a little more active, but not much. They just sit and dip snuff and
wow, so it's so funny because I was a very fortunate person to grow up and have my father's mother, who is still alive, my mother's mother, who just passed away 7 years ago, and then my father's mother's mother was alive. All of them at the same time.
Beautiful.
So I was very blessed in that
Yes.
aspect to have all that. Now, my father's mother was very active. My mother's mother was very active and still is to the day.
Dang.
It still is to the day. And my great grandmother, I'm Grandma Bessie. Oh my God, she was in her 90s, and you had to keep up with her because when she started walking, she was gone.
Yeah.
So, but to look at the difference now. When you say grandmother and they're 35, and but I'm gonna just say it this way: they're 30 on up to the mid 40s, and they're still at the club,
still
hanging out with their daughters, and you're like,
and maybe in competition with her for the same man,
right?
Yeah,
that's mind blowing to me.
Me too. Okay, so like right now, I'm 57.
Okay.
And my daughter is mid-20s.
Okay.
So to me, there would never be competition for a male, right?
Well, I've never met your daughter, so I don't know what she looks like.
There would never be competition.
I haven't met your daughter, but I'll tell my listeners, B is thick as a biscuit, so it's all good. It's all good. She thick as a biscuit, and that's not a bad thing. So I don't know what her daughter looks like. So
she's awesome. She's beautiful.
Okay,
if I should say so myself. But when I think about like that, now that I'm single, I am very mindful because although I'm 57, I do kind of turn heads, I guess, for the 40-something male, and that is a big stretch for me. So being that things are as they are, my daughter, before she connected with the gentleman she's with now, she was actually talking to someone who was like in his mid-30s. And so,
So you wouldn't talk to someone in their mid-30s if there was a chemistry there was an attraction
it's
there?
It's going to have to be some serious chemistry. Because, my eldest son is in his 30s. I think I just have to draw the line when it comes to dating somebody who might be my child's age. If I can be your mama,
That might not be a bad thing.
No.
That might not
You
be a
ain't gonna
bad
be
thing.
calling me mama. And
Well, he ain't gonna
be
call you
doing
mama.
the do. No.
I ain't saying he
no.
calling you mama. That's what you tell him to say. But yeah, I guess that's why I differ. I think age is just a number, only for the simple fact that I've dated younger women who were more mature than a lot of older women I've dated. And there are older men who still act like they kids and teenagers.
That is
so
true.
To me, age is not that factor because they haven't matured.
Okay.
So
it's rare to meet a young man who is mature to that level, though. And if he is...
So what if you do? He's got his house. He done brought his house. He done graduated from college. His cars are paid for. His cars are paid for. He ain't got no baby mama drama in his life. And he's a healthy brother. What? You telling me you wouldn't consider it?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Because this is another thing that I have come to conclusion about being a youthful senior.
Okay. Let's see. You go ahead and use that word. I ain't got senior yet. I ain't hit senior until
After
I
55, you see.
Nah, I ain't hitting senior until I hit 65. That's when I say I'm senior. I get 65, I'm a senior.
I'm still, I don't really focus so much on if I look 30 or 40 or whatever it is. I mean, when I say youthful, I mean my energy, my sense of my vitality. And so because this, recognizing that the 40-somethings are interested or, saying, hey, let me talk to you kind of stuff, not liking that word, but we've had conversations, right? So in my brief encounters with a lot of them, I know that, we're not going to be an item. It'll be a moment at most, and so for the exchange of energy that transpires, if there is chemistry, okay, cool, but not for long term. I don't think so. Okay. That hasn't been my experience so far.
All right.
But back to the subject, right? So being a grandma, I had not considered myself being a grandma. I'm a yaya. So yaya is to me more descriptive because it's not the nanny, the ninny, the granny, those words kind of describes to me a lady who walks around with maybe hair rollers and bonnet on and those smock dresses with house shoes on and like me. I could do those things, but that is not me remotely.
Well, let me say this. You brought up vitality and being the woman that you are, and do you find yourself still having the desires that you had when you were a younger woman? Do you still find yourself waking up in the middle of the night and realizing, damn, I'm horny and I'm wet? Do you still consider yourself so vital that you could walk past a man and say, ooh, I would tear his ass up? You know what I'm saying? I mean, those things, because those are questions my listeners want to know. Hey, am I the only woman out here in my 50s and 55 and I'm still horny all the time? I wake up in the middle of the night and my damn panties are soaked, Yeah. You know what I mean? Do those things are still occurring?
You know what? They do happen from time to time. More recently, more frequently. I have stopped wearing underwear to bed, kind of for that reason. It's like, okay, we need to get some circulation going on here,
Okay.
And giving light to recent friends that I've made who are very sexually active, open-minded, It's funny because just recently I said, wow, this we have this page that we are group members, and there was a bunch of questions people were asking about their, sexual experiences, and my response is like, wow, just listening to the questions or reading the questions, I feel really inexperienced based on the episodes that folks are describing, and reading it, I was like, ooh, I want to try that. I've never thought of that. And yeah, I need to do this while I'm still youthful.
Well, I mean, see, now you done made me pop up with another question. See, being that now, technically, even though your daughter lives with you, but technically she's a grown woman and out of your house.
Yes.
Technically.
Yes.
Even though she's in your house, but she's still out of your house.
Yes, we're independent.
You find that you're more open to things that you had thought about once before in the past or fantasized about, or even said, you know what, I'm at that point in my life, I can try shit and it don't really matter what other people think or feel.
Absolutely. Honestly, it's from just strictly dating for the fun of it, because in the past when my children were young and impressionable and I'm having to live the life that is, exemplary of a mom, I did not allow certain activities or even representations of anything that would not, that would be out of line in terms of what I was trying to instill in them to become a responsible, accountable adults, etc. So you figure, so my eldest is 30 something. So so for 25 years, for sure, 25 straight years, because that's my daughter's age, I was that exemplary mom, PTA, church, all of that, rarely would show cleavage, barely showed my legs, that kind of stuff, right? Because I was mom. But even in that, it was so interesting because my children would say that people would still think I was their sister. I guess I just had that youthful appearance or whatever. And so after they became, independent and on their own, I found myself, wow, I'm single. There's loneliness. And yeah, I still like to feel the body. I need a human body to interact with, to kiss.
I get that.
All of that good stuff. I did the bobs, but they don't do it for me. I want to feel flesh to flesh.
And I was just having that conversation day before yesterday and talking to someone, and I said, no matter who you are, where you are, or how old you are, everybody wants to feel human contact. It is what it is. Oh, yeah. Hey guys, if you're just tuning in, this is Nightlife 24/7. I'm your boy Mac, and today I am talking with Miss B, and we are discussing glam moms. A subject that most people don't even know what the terminology is for, but it's that young grandmother who's still sexually active, the Miss Diva who's still out in the club having fun. Now, don't get me wrong. We don't classify all glam moms this way because a lot of the grandmothers, young grandmothers these days are not out in the clubs or going to bars, but some still are. And the fact is that the dynamics of the grandmother, glam mom, have changed over the last 10 years. So, me and Miss B are here discussing a little bit of those things and trying to answer some questions for some of you who are trying to figure out where you stand in this arena with this terminology, and making sure that you understand that it's okay to feel the way you feel, to be open about your sexuality now, to experience your fantasies, to live your life the way you want, because now the kids are grown and out of the house and you can do what the hell you want to. Walk around butt-ass naked all day in your own house, because that's what you've always felt you should want to do. Well,
absolutely.
Live it up. So you don't ever conceive, you were never one of those glam moms that was into clubs and bars, though. I just don't get that from you. Or am I wrong?
You are so wrong. I would be up in a club in a
Seriously?
because I like to dance, and when I'm
I
in the
just
club,
didn't see that from you.
oh yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
You
because
look at me,
I
you
don't.
think I'm
that,
all American.
yeah,
you know?
I don't. That doesn't come
That
across.
church lady.
Yes, it does. Oh
Miss
wow.
Innocent, you know,
Yes.
apple
Okay.
pie. I did my club. In fact, even while they were young, I would still go out to clubs and stuff when they were like with their dad. You know,
Yeah.
that time when they were away, I went to play and I played. I played hard.
Oh, no, with your bad self.
So that was just because the other thing I've realized is that all the time that I was spending sacrificing or being all of that, they were still being who they are, and that's the thing I said. I gave them permission to be who you are, always be who you are, and be bold and be responsible doing that. And so I had to do it too. It's just, I guess I was a hypocrite in that way.
Wow.
But that was the image in my mind. I was emulating my mom, who I love and adore.
So what you're saying is you had brought into the cultural stereotype of what was necessary.
As a mother, because here's the other thing. In our conversations as my children were growing up, they shared with me the differences in their friends' moms.
Right.
Because there's that comparison. And so they saw, the irresponsible mom, the partying mom,
right.
The addicted mom. So they had a variety.
Cool mom.
So they had a variety of moms, to look upon. And
right.
so that kind of, I tried to stay genuine, because I really genuinely care about their image, what
right.
I was presenting to them. But I also realized that I needed to be healthy and vibrant and free and grounded at the same time, So I would still allow myself certain permission,
Okay.
I wasn't like into like one night stands, but I dated. And I love to dance, and what better place than a club to dance?
Well, true. Now, let me ask you this. What do you consider would be the biggest difference between glam moms of today versus grandmothers of 20 years ago? I say 30 years. I say 30 years ago. What would you consider to be the biggest difference?
Besides the appearance? Because, I'm
That's
going to tell
one.
you, appearance is going to be a big thing, but I realized that there were glam moms even 30 years ago. We just didn't see them as
Right,
such.
right.
They dressed differently. They were chic,
Yeah.
but classic chic.
Yeah.
And they they were very discreet, and
yeah, that's true.
whatever their lifestyles were, you didn't know what it was, because every time you saw them, they were being responsible adults.
Yeah, Lord.
So the glam moms of today, however, are probably
a little bit more out there.
Yeah,
and the age
free
difference.
spirit. Yeah, and they're much younger. I think maybe 30 years ago, it was reasonable for someone to be 50 and be a grandmother, and that was being a young grandmother 30
Right.
years ago. Whereas, like we already stated, today it's not uncommon to be, mid to late 30s and already somebody's grandmother.
Wow. Yeah. The biggest thing that I've noticed, though, is the dressing.
Mm-hmm.
They still dress like they're a single mother or a single woman that's out on the prowl at the club. That's it. I mean, yes, I'm going to even bust it out even, but watch Jerry Springer, and you can see the mother on stage with her daughter who slept with her man.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
She's got on the half T-shirt with her stomach out,
Yeah.
or the mini skirt, or the skinny jeans on. You know,
Yes, and
or
yes.
even they're both working at the same strip club, stripping together.
But you know what, though? I mean, like, what I see is that there is a difference in the fashion expression, the industry. So there was a time when the plus size woman was not permitted to show so much.
Yes,
Right?
I remember that. Most of the dresses were really draping
Yeah,
or overflowing or very
yeah. It
long.
covered.
And that's not it.
That is
and
not the case.
there's
If you
not-
can get in it, you can wear it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
and that freedom of expression and being being good with the skin you're in and loving your curves and all of that. I think that has to do with a lot of what we're seeing, that the people are saying, you know what, forget about all of that stuff. You know, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna express who I am, and if you don't like it, you don't have to be me. You know, and I'm good with that. I feel like even I have a variety of styles that I adorn, and it depends on what mood I'm in. You know,
I think that's what any woman.
and any man.
Any woman. I think, yeah, that's true. We go through that
Okay,
phase too.
you know.
So I want to ask you this: do you think that the black culture, in general, is more accepting of the new glam mom?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is it speaks to that kind of being relevant
Mm-hmm.
and current in terms of what is going on. So that so-called grandma is someone who can hold a conversation that is, you know, about what's happening culturally, society wise, and speak to her children, her grandchildren, in such a way that they too can understand, and is not old fashioned. It's not going to be something that they're going to ignore per se, you know. And children apparently put a lot of emphasis on the adult representation of them. So that woman who comes to school for whatever reason, and she's not, you know, fashion chic, that child gets embarrassed by that person appearance, you know. So appearance matters, you know, even still. And it, you know, so the things that were going on when we were kids, you know, when we would, you know, Joan our friends because of the way their parent look or whatever,
I know,
that still goes on even still. So being fashionable is important, and yeah.
So do you think that it's okay for me as a say I'm a glam mom in my, I'm just saying hypothetically, in my mid 30s, and my child, whether it's a son or a daughter, in their 20s, early 20s, 20, 21, let's just say 21, 22, and we're both, you think it's cool for us both to be at the same nightclub party?
You know what?
You know,
I've seen
and
that.
they've you know, my child now has a 1 or 2 year old, maybe 1 or 2 year old, or
Could
by the
happen.
you know, by the she's 15, she had a child, 18, she had a child, and then 20, she just had another child, and she's in the club with me, you know, and I'm sitting up here, you know, I got 3 grandchildren, and she's got 3, and we're at the club party.
I've seen that.
Okay.
Okay, so that becomes a matter of the relationship between the two. I think usually, though, it's special occasions. Somebody's celebrating a birthday or some occasion. So you're in the club, you know, for a special occasion. Fine. But if we routine party,
But I'm
chicks,
yeah, because I'm still in my 30s. I'm still hanging out. I'm still
no.
going out. I'm still doing my thing. I'm still vibrant at 30, in my mid 30s.
Yeah, but we gonna be vibrant in different places. I'm not gonna be like, because you know, for me, my taste in music is gonna be very different than my child's.
Well,
taste
that's
in
probably
music.
so because you're
And
maybe in the R&B and a little bit more jazz or whatever, and
Right.
they're in
They're hip
R&B
hop,
and rap and
right?
hip hop,
Well, and we still like old school. You
right?
know, we now that's one thing we all have in common. We love ourselves some old school, but in terms of dancing, I'm not gonna do those dances that my children do or that generation.
Come on
That's
now,
just
come
I hate.
on,
I
come on,
tried it.
Glam Mom, you ain't gonna twerk for us.
When I when I try that, they say, "Mama, no, Ma, don't." Mm-mm. And you know what? Each one of my children have a different term of endearment for me.
Okay.
So it's just kind of cool like that.
I'm always impressed because I do like watching videos on my cell phone, and I watch them on Brazzer, and I watch them on Buzzer, and I watch them on Emo, the little stories and Friends Over or Explore, and it's always amazing to me the generations of women who are twerking. Don't do a damn thing for me, but you can see them from 2 years old
I know.
all the way up to 50 years old twerking, and I just, yeah, okay. But that's
It's a
another
different
show.
story,
Yeah, it's a different
yeah.
show. We're gonna have that.
guess it's good exercise
Yeah,
for the
I
hip.
guess it is for the hips and the stomach.
Yeah.
Even though most of you who twerk can't fuck. But moving on. We're gonna leave that alone. You got all the moves
Let it be
there.
known that I cannot twerk. So
Okay. Therefore, yeah, because a lot of y'all be throwing your ass and hips and shaking your legs, and then when you get in bed, you lay there like a dying cockroach. But hey, this is Nightlife 24/7. I'm your boy Mac, and today I'm talking with Miss B, who's giving her point of view on being a black woman who is considered a glam mom at this stage in her life. And so you're getting the point of view from a woman who has had children, who has maintained a relationship with her children, and at the same time, she's still viable as far as dating and still what, I would consider sexually active. Just because a woman is older doesn't mean that, hey, the well has dried up. That's not the way it is. I've come to learn that most of the women that I've encountered or ran into or just having general conversations, I met a woman, Dave Wednesday called me on Wednesday. She called me, woman named Marilyn. We had met a few times and just talked. Nothing sexual ever happened between us. She was like, I'm 58 going on 59, and she says, I would think as I got older, my sex drive and my horniness would have just dissipated. She says, but, the older I get, the hornier I'm getting. And she's like, I wake up in the middle of the night like somebody hasn't tapped me on my shoulder because I'm so freaking wet and horny. And she was like, my toys just don't do it for me.
True.
So,
You know what? I agree. It's part of that too is the freedom in knowing that I can do that. I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. Although there are some who have gotten pregnant in their 50s, and that's a whole nother something.
yeah, that's a whole nother topic. We're going to discuss that topic later on in the year too. We definitely going to discuss that.
Yeah, and going through menopause, not really sure what you're going to be when you come on the other side of that, or if it ever ends.
Right.
For me, I was blessed that it ended as soon as it almost started. It was less than a year or two that I had to go through the hot flash syndromes and stuff like that. So, that is part of what it's like for me. It's like, okay, no more hot flashes. I'm still, feeling myself. And I'm thinking, how many good years do I really have
Oh, wow.
to drop it like it's hot, right?
She said, how many more good years do I have like it's a car?
Before I become all wrinkled and pruned and stuff like that, Now, I will say this. My mom is in her 80s, and she's not wrinkled at all, so...
Well, maybe it's genetics. See, you may have those. You may have those genetics.
Yeah.
Now you're saying that, but there was a study that was conducted of men and women that were in their 70s and 80s at rest homes.
Yeah.
That they
Getting
were
it
more.
on.
They were more sexually active
Mm-hmm.
than anyone because there were so many cases of STDs and infections.
Yeah, exactly. And so, the rule still applies. Wrap it up, but then, in certain relationships where you're monogamous to that point, you don't wrap it up so much, but yeah.
And then most of us, as we've gotten older and older, we're a lot more careful and cautious.
Yeah, with
selection, so we tend not to wrap it up as much, but yeah. I agree with you on that one totally. You still should and keep it that way because it is what it is. So
stuff is still going on.
Yeah.
You got the sugar mamas and the Splenda daddies, and all of that good stuff.
Splenda daddies,
yeah,
that was good. Like Cheryl Underwood said yesterday. She said back in our day, when you were all sexually active, you could just get a shot for whatever ailed you.
Okay, but not today.
Not today. Things are totally different. But that was so funny that I was watching the talk and she was talking about that. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, yeah, true. You can get a shot and go about your business. But do you think in today's society that in the black culture that glam moms are becoming more prevalent? They're starting to be there because in my personal opinion, I do. Only for the simple fact that young men and women are having kids at such a young age, 10,
before
12, 13,
graduation,
Right. And now you're, as a parent, you're dealing with this,
Because, people are still choosing to have the baby and to keep the baby. And so that's definitely happening. And I don't know. It's interesting, the growing up, I grew up mostly in the 70s, late 60s, 70s.
Right.
And that was the, wild, free sex and all that stuff for people who were, maybe 10 years older than me. They were the hippies or whatnot. Love the one you with kind of stuff, But even then, it wasn't so many pregnancies that were, I guess abortion was kind of available there.
Right.
And maybe now, because of all
but
this
it was
conversation,
more hidden to get it done. You had to be hidden away.
Yes. And girls who became pregnant would be kind of disappear. You didn't see them in school.
Right. Or for the summer they were gone and then come back later. Yeah.
I remember being in elementary, grade school. We're talking 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Right.
And one of the girls became pregnant. And that was kind of, unique for someone to be pregnant 7th and 8th grade for us in that group. Although there were many who were sexually active, but to get pregnant was a whole different story, so it happened, but it wasn't as common.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That.
So for that reason, it's definitely going to be more prevalent, And, I not for nothing, I was having a conversation with my daughter recently, and we were about the same size in some ways. And so oftentimes, certain things get mixed in the clothing, and I've told her, look, stay out of my closet. I'll stay out of yours. But she won't do that, right? So guess what? Mama gets to wear whatever she wants that she can fit. So, yeah.
Wow. See, that's the other thing I was going to hit you up, being a glam mom and wow. And you have to, I'm going to just throw it out there. Look at Jada Pickett's mom. Yeah. Beautiful. There was another woman that I saw on the Facebook. She was 60-something. I can't remember. I know it's between 60, 65. The woman had the body of a 20-year-old. Yeah. And she was working out at the gym.
I know, yeah.
Okay.
I've seen
her.
So
you find a lot more of these glam moms are in the gym putting it down.
Well, you got time. So, you're retired or, you got the time. So why not invest it in yourself?
glam mom would be traveling, playing golf if you were white or whatever, and you were traveling, taking cruises.
They still do that.
Yeah, but now it's about the gym. It's about looking.
Oh, but you're in the gym so that when you travel, you can do that there.
Okay.
You know, it's all relative.
Yeah.
Versus the grandma who's cooking cookies, baking cookies,
Right.
and meals all day long.
And that's evolved.
Mo-
That's totally
who cooks
evolved.
all the time? Nobody.
Me.
Well, not all the time.
Yeah, true. Not
Some
all the
more
time.
men are kind of doing that.
I'm about
but-
80% versus
See, and-
80% cooking all the time.
But you're kind of a homebody too.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. See,
Yeah,
so you're
yeah.
you're kind of a glampa.
Grandpa. Yeah. Well,
no,
you know,
no,
I-
you're old fashioned because you're the guy that's at home cooking and maintaining stuff at home. You know, whereas
I was never a club guy. I just never
Yeah.
was. I tried it. It didn't work for me. I realized very quickly it was the same people doing the same shit. We were spending all this money to get in the club. You had 2 to 3 drink minimum.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, okay. Then you went the next week. It was the same people.
It was.
And I was just like, okay, cool.
Same old,
you
same
were
old.
lucky enough you went home with a different girl, but I was just like,
So.
yeah, it was never.
See, I
never-
always go before the cover charge.
Well, most of it, they had free women. It was free women's night
Yeah.
anytime
And
anyway.
I've never been much of a drinker, so it was
See,
a whole
that's me.
different
I was
thing for
never a
me.
drinker, so
Yeah. It was
yeah.
all about the dance for me. I
Yeah.
just like dancing.
Yeah.
You know what else? I was never that one that a guy would step to and say, "Hey, let's exchange numbers and stuff." I was not the pickup chick. So
Alrighty then, that's different. Okay, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. We'll talk about that on another show. Hey guys, this is Nightlife 24/7, and today we are discussing glam moms. Miss B is giving you her point of view from a black woman's point of view. And as I stated at the beginning of the show, I'm going to have 2 different point of views. You're getting the point of view from a black woman about being a glam mom, and the next young lady that I will have on the show, and you're probably going to die laughing at her name, but we call her the Grand Mexican. And she is a Latino woman, very, very beautiful, just like Miss B. Has children, but she's extremely active socially, and gets out and does things. She's actively sexually. So I want to give you guys 2 different points of views from 2 different types of cultures, just so you could understand the difference in how that woman or these women are still viable and vibrant and in their life and lifestyles and within the family dynamics itself. You know, I love the fact that you guys continue to listen to us, and we are continuing to grow, and I greatly, greatly appreciate that. I always tell you, and I think you know this, I'm being honest and true from the bottom of my heart. You know, we are so different in every aspect of our living, our life, and the way we deal with situations. And we all have things that make us who we are. But at the same time, we have things that we like or into that possibly may scare our partner or partners or our significant other off or make them look at us differently. All I'm saying is this is who you are. Please don't be ashamed of who you are. And you should be able to express who you are to them if they really, truly love you and care about you to a point to where they can consider those things that you like or maybe indulge in those things that you like. The world is changing so drastically now. Violence is so rampant. And that makes us hope to have a more open relationship because you never know. You know, I always tell you guys from the beginning, be safe, be smart, and have fun. And you should. And you should be able to have that type of fun with the person you love and care about. You know, the other thing I always want you to understand is, you know, we're put on this earth to help other people. And if you can't help them, God knows, don't do anything to hurt them. Okay? With that being said, I want to say goodbye to you. And Mrs. B, you want to say bye?
Ciao for now.
All right, guys, continue listening. And as I said, we will be back with part 2 from a Latino woman's point of view. Talk to you later. We at Nightlife 24/7 appreciate you, our listener, who has an open mind and heart and are able to listen, learn, and discuss those issues that affect you and your partner. By discussing these issues, we hope to keep the lines of communication open to help inform you, our listener, and our community. It's on your mind, so let's talk about it on Nightlife 24/7.